The RV Show USA is brought to you by Flagstaff, building better RVs, making smarter RVers.
The RV Show USA.
And now, live from the RV Show USA studios in San Antonio, Texas, it's your RV and Wingman, Alan Warren.
You know, as our regular listeners know, each week we connect with our friends at Rockwood Flagstaff in Indiana who are nice enough to participate in our education initiative. Essentially, join in a two-way conversation between the RV industry and consumers to build a bridge, if you will. On one side, we want the manufacturers to build the best RVs possible and minimize the amount of issues that we sometimes hear about in terms of poor quality. And on the other side, the manufacturers, they want consumers, that's you and me, to understand how the RV industry functions, as well as our responsibilities as RV owners. The objective is to have a more educated public and a more committed industry. I think that together we're doing a pretty good job of building that bridge. So last week we started my interview with Anthony Yoder, who lives in Indiana, works for the Flagstaff Rockwood division of Forest River. We began to get a feel for how things are going there in Indiana with the RV manufacturing plants and the general attitude of the people there. Let's continue now with that interview. Okay, so we're in this dark cloud, kind of a funk right now with all this pandemic and the economic hardships that we're all under. What are your thoughts, Anthony, as you look into the future when we come out of this dark cloud? Are you optimistic about the RV industry and RV sales? Are you pessimistic, and why?
Yeah, I'd definitely say optimistic, and selfishly, I'd like to think optimistic, but really, I've seen some articles out there published by some bigger corporate or bigger news sources talking about the fact that RVs may thrive once this is all said and done with, because you may see a decline in air travel, you may see a decline in different other branches of hospitality, such as hotels, where people are going to be concerned. Having your RV, it's your house, it's your house on wheels. You know how clean it is. You know who's slept in the bed before. You've taken care of everything. So, there's going to be some people that maybe had trips planned. I talked to a customer the other day that him and his wife actually planned to fly over to Israel and take another vacation somewhere warm on a beach, and just with her health conditions decided that it was best that, maybe we don't get on a plane for the next couple of years and stay local and travel in an RV and pull our house with us, essentially.
Yeah, and I think just on a personal level that a lot of people are reevaluating their own lives, their own situation, and they realize that an RV, yes, we buy them because they're fun or they're functional. A lot of people that have jobs, traveling nurses and so forth, they have them, but they're fun primarily for most of us, but they also function as a way to get away, to escape bad weather or an emergency situation. And I think that the future is very bright for the RV industry, but that, I'm not some expert. I hear people thinking that, or saying, these financial people saying that that when there is a recession and a slowdown, that people aren't going to be buying RVs like they have been. And I'm not sure if I agree with that. I think that there's a lot of people, like I said, that are reevaluating the things, their priorities, and I think we're going to see a booming future, personally.
That's right. Generally speaking, people look at RVs as, it's a discretionary income type of expenditure where, but if you look at it, people are still going to want a vacation. They're still going to take time off, and maybe it is less expensive for them to buy an RV now, and a little bit more, I don't know if careful is the right word to put it, but, you're not taking as many risks as getting on an airplane, traveling somewhere else that you don't know. It's maybe a little safer alternative for you.
Any advice for people that are listening to this interview, listening to our chat, saying, you know what, we're gonna, as soon as this thing gets over and we get some clarity, we're gonna buy an RV. Any advice on what they should or shouldn't do as soon as they want to pull the trigger and buy one, in terms of not making a rush judgment, and buying the wrong RV? What should they be doing right now to get ready for when things get better?
Yeah, I'd say right now is probably the perfect time for a lot of people. I know there's a lot of people affected by this that maybe aren't have their employment currently, or maybe working from home and have a lot more downtime. So now's a better time than ever to do your research. And there's, nowadays you can get on the YouTubes and Facebooks and forums and find out information and true ownership reviews and, really dig into things. I know that we're still working and answering phone calls here for Rockwood and Flagstaff as well as all the other manufacturers out there. And, we've got plenty of time on our hands where if you have questions, that's part of my daily task is to answer questions from retail customers, whether it be via email or phone. And the best thing to do is chat with the manufacturer's rep. If you really want to know the ins and outs of everything and have your questions answered, we're the ones that are supposed to know. So,
and now's a good time to do it.
Downtime. Yep.
Yep. All right. A few weeks back we visited with one of your counterparts there at the plant, and he had this term. He called it lights and lipstick, talking about the bling on travel trailers and not being caught up in he called it the lights and lipstick. What are your thoughts on that?
That's right. I kind of coined that phrase, lights and lipstick. He really liked that. So he took that from me and really stole all my thunder. So if I wanted to talk about it,
that's a Yoder thing, huh?
I know he likes to talk about the dog bowls and this and that, but yeah, a lot of manufacturers, and I know I listened to his segment on this where, there's a lot of things about an RV that'll look really nice and draw your eye away from maybe what's more important. Well, what are those axles? What's that construction like? How are they building the roof? How are they building that back wall? How are they constructing their dinettes and their beds? Yeah, great, it looks good, but is good looks really going to get that trailer down the road for the next 5 years where, I don't want to, talk our brand up too much, but we're doing things to not only make our trailers look aesthetically pleasing, but we're also taking care of things on the construction end of things and the features as well.
And sometimes the bling distracts you from that. You don't see the quality construction when you're looking at the fancy lights and the bling, as they say, the lights and lipstick.
That's right. Yeah, it draws your attention away sometimes from the important things to really pay attention to. But I don't blame the people. You see a really nice looking car, and maybe that's all you think. Ooh, it's a nice car, but how does it perform? You don't really always dig into all of that. So,
how do you guys train the salespeople at the dealership? Because it would seem to me that dealer training, salesperson training, is critical, and so those salespeople at the retail level can educate the consumer and tell them the difference, the reason why this RV is less expensive than that one, why that fifth wheel is more expensive than the other one.
Yeah, that's right. Generally speaking, this time of year, I would be out on the road just visiting certain dealerships and holding, whether it be an hour, 2, 3 hour long training sessions, going over everything from construction to features to axles and just trying to educate my dealerships. This day and age, it's so easy, though, to make a video and send that video out or put together, a slideshow PowerPoint or I've even thinking about recently here while we have all this downtime, just doing, Zoom meetings with my dealers that I know they're not the busiest right now, so perfect time to start training and educate those salespeople so that they can then educate that customer.
So it's a good opportunity right now during the lull, so to speak, from a consumer standpoint, do your homework, start watching videos, ask questions. If you want to go to a dealer, I mean, you're not going to be you're going to be welcome in a dealer showroom right now instead of rushed out of a dealer showroom, I think.
They'll probably buy you lunch. They'd love to see you, and it's a funny thing. I've actually been on a couple of my dealers' websites, talked to a couple of our other reps, and a lot of them are now even doing virtual walkthroughs. You can FaceTime or whatever with someone at the dealership, and you say, "Hey, I'm interested in the Rockwood Mini Lake 2104. Can you go walk through it and talk about some of the features?" And so it's nice to see that there are people adapting to this situation and making the best out of a situation that we're in.
Boy, a lot of good stuff right there for sure. I know that there are a bunch of people who catch this show who are just itching to buy an RV. And from the way Anthony sounds, I think there's never been a better time to go to your dealer and learn about quality. Plus, you need to find that dealer that will treat you right, not just during the sale, but after the sale as well, just the way that they are, the way they're supposed to. Our conversation continues next week with our friends from Flagstaff Rockwood. I hope that you're learning and finding out some really cool things, and especially that there are some really good manufacturers out there. if you just know where to find them. If you have a question you'd like from me to ask the manufacturer, send us an email to info@thervshowusa.com.